welcome to the last episode of Kickstart Connections for 2023. I am your host, Lucinda Underwood. And because it's the last episode of the year, and, this is the time of year where we look back and also look forward to what's to come. So joining me today is Marc Boudreau. Hi, Marc. How are you?
Hi, Lucy Underwood. How you doing?
I'm good. We've both had a very busy year this year.
It's been quite busy. Yeah. Kind of some transition periods. We, of course, rebranded Kickstart Connections into not just a podcast, but a real business.
Yeah.
To support our main businesses. And it's been quite a 2023. I always look back on the years these days, and it's like, where did the time
Oh my
go?
goodness. It goes in the blink of an eye, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put anyone down with COVID, but I feel like my perception of time since the pandemic started, and the pandemic, it's over, but when it began.
Is it over?
Is it ever over?
I don't know. We're not going to talk about COVID.
Psychologically, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no,
we're traumatized.
The passage of time doesn't really make sense anymore.
No, I saw something actually on, I don't know, it was Instagram or something the other day, and it was just kind of like realizing that we're about to go into 2024, and also that 2019 was 5 years ago and we're still processing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, hard relate.
Crazy. 5 years. But hey, we're not here.
We're not here to talk about the pandemic. We're here to talk about entrepreneurial stuff, because that's what we talk about on this show.
And definitely more of a relaxed episode. It's the end of the year. We're going to talk about some, we're obviously going to reminisce about the year.
Yeah.
Go a bit more into what we just did on the intro, but talk about some goals for 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe some predictions. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's some exciting stuff coming up that we can probably talk about a little bit.
We can hint.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, cool. Well, listen, let's start from the beginning of the year. How was your January of 2023?
Oh my goodness gracious, Lucy. What happened in January 2023?
Oh, God.
I have to go back into my photos in my phone to be like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that
I don't even know. The whole year's just gone by, but no, I mean, I can start if you like.
Certainly. Jog my memory.
I'll jog your memory.
I just look at my photos on my phone.
Yeah. So I started the year. So with my business, Kickstart Coaching and Consulting, I made a big decision at the beginning of 2023. And, when I'd first started the business a year prior, I was really focusing on kind of small business consulting and marketing consulting and those kind of things. And then I made a switch at the beginning of 2023 and decided to solely focus and really narrow down my focus to the automotive industry, which obviously, as most people probably know if they've listened to this podcast before, is my background. And I was thinking on my way here, because I was thinking about, the year gone and what we were going to talk about. And I have to say that decision has paid off greatly.
I love to hear that.
Yes. And it was a risky one, because, in the market that we're in here, there's really kind of two large companies that own the dealerships and things like that, right? So I had to kind of think, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to widen my net.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I got my name out there a bit, and I've done so over the course of the year, I've done some work in Ontario, I've done some work in Alberta, in Edmonton, and not even actually, funnily enough, just automotive. I've done some work with a marina company.
Did we know that? I don't know if we...
did I not tell you that? Yeah, that's when I went to Muskoka.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I had that horrible drive from the airport.
Right.
And terrified myself. It was, oh, God, it took 3 hours to get there from the airport. I'm going to just talk about this for a bit because it was very traumatic. And there was snow and it was dark. And I'm driving a rental car on the 400, which is not the best highway at the best of times. And it was quite stressful.
Well, you made it.
But I made it.
Yeah.
And we had a great couple of days of training. Mm-hmm. And I made it home too. And it was great. It was great. So it's been a big year for me in that respect. I also became a writer. That happened this year.
Okay.
I got my column with Canadian Auto Dealer that I write. Yeah, my regular
Very
column.
nice.
So continuing that on into 2024 as well. And actually, I do have some news to wrap up this last part of the year.
Lay it on me.
Actually, 2 pieces of news, but the first one, I am officially signed the paperwork and everything, now part-time faculty for a university.
What?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say which university?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because everything's done now. So it's actually the Automotive Business School of Canada, and they are headquartered at Georgian College in Barrie, in Ontario, but it's the only automotive business school in Canada.
Wow.
So they teach all over. So I'm going to be doing some of their probably more local courses, and the program is essentially, it's kind of a management program. So it's for people that, sales managers or service managers that are moving into that general manager position, and they are going to then be running the whole dealership. So I have my first training dates actually in January, towards the end of January. So so excited! I can't wait.
Professor Underwood
has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. It kind of sounds like Harry Potter.
I don't think I'm technically a professor though.
No, I know, but it doesn't matter.
We're going to call me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it.
I'll
take it. So yeah, that just happened last week actually.
That's awesome.
So,
well, congratulations.
Yeah.
I may have known about the marina and I forgot, but I definitely didn't know about that.
No, because that is, it's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
Like it's been in the works for probably since spring.
Yeah.
But things move slowly, Like,
oh my goodness, that's going to be one of my we haven't really talked about it yet, but one of my things that I've learned over the years of running a business is
Let's talk about it now, because I love talking about a good lesson.
Well, wait, because I got to go through BNV's year because I checked my phone.
Okay.
There actually were no photos in January, but no, I'm going to go through it.
Okay.
So I alluded to that 2023 was a big transition year for BNV. For anyone who knows us, our bread and butter, what we started with, the amount of times I've said bread and butter for this, is podcasting.
Right.
And still is very much the foundation of this business. But Jamie and I, my business partner, who's of course been featured on Kickstart before, he's our business partner in Kickstart Connections, we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves. So we didn't call ourselves BNV Podcasts or anything like that. Call ourselves BNV Media for a reason. And this year was really...
You got to plan the scale, right? You got to plan it. Yes.
So we didn't want to just do podcasts. And Jamie has, an audio background, music background, marketing background for me. So I was like, I think we can grow this into other areas of media. And that's kind of what we did. Similar to, what you've experienced over here on the East Coast. And not to say, we love Halifax and it is
this is where we live.
This is where we live. We don't plan
always
on
live.
going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Unless an amazing opportunity. No, I'm joking.
No, I've done it. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, you're not doing it again. But, and it's growing and it's great, but it is still somewhat small. And there are, I don't want to, like, for better or worse, there are more opportunities if you look west or even if you look south into the States. So we kind of did that, but more so looking at, what other opportunities are there in the media space, in the immediacy of the Atlantic provinces, but also outside of the Atlantic provinces. That's how, we started Kickstart Kickstart Connections. As what it is now, pop-up podcast at events, conferences, on the fly podcasts, general media, video marketing for your conferences and events. And our first two are not in the Atlantic provinces. I mean, the first one that was kind of our test run. Shout out to the Halifax Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, thank you for having us, because we didn't know how that was going to go, did we?
No, thanks for believing us. And it did work out. That was in May or June?
June. It was
in June of 2023.
Early June, I think.
Early June, yeah. So we were prepping in May, and it went great. And we were able to get an opportunity in Burlington at a really cool conference put on by Shop Pros and IMB.
Yep.
That place, Haggerty Garage and Social.
I know.
What a spot. Check it out.
I always said if I ever get married, I want to get married there. I might get married just so I could have a party there.
Why not? Why not? They've got everything you need.
That's true.
So we did that. And then we have another one coming up in February in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So opportunities happening there outside of this space. We're never going to forget about Atlantic Canada. We still have our eyes on it. But, we want to get a little bit more going outside of Atlantic Canada. So started there. And then we had some other opportunities come out of just almost by chance. And that kind of comes back to just believing that you're going to be able to grow and not having that positive attitude. People that we met that became close with us and then connected to us to another person. And all of a sudden, we're doing a podcast or planning on doing a podcast with a famous musician based out of Toronto.
I don't know about this.
I think you might.
Is it Drake?
No, it's for...
It's the only musician from Toronto I know.
For all the people under 40 listening right now, it's not who you're thinking of. Someone who was part of a band that was quite large in the 80s and still tours now, still
cool.
A massive following. So, we're hoping that kind of gets underway early 2024.
Yeah.
And then we are starting, we're hoping to start a podcast under BNV Media, but through Kickstart Connections with someone we met at the Burlington conference.
Yes.
In early 2024 as well.
Yeah.
And then we also, something that we've been doing for the last couple of years that was outside of podcasting, was partnering with Soli Productions, Soli Talent.
And she was she was my guest on the last episode.
Salitha was your last guest.
So you guys all met Salitha.
You already know people. You know who that is. She's amazing. And we've been doing work with her. And we had the opportunity and the honor to join Soli and her team of fantastic people, designers, models, hair and makeup, everyone involved, to Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah. That was huge.
The end of that feels like a fever dream. That was the end of September, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was great. It flew by. Any work trip does, and especially in a city like Paris. And we were in London for a day too, so it was overwhelming because you have that tourist party. You were like, I want to see this, I want to see that, but it's no, we got to go.
Got to go work.
We got to work.
Yeah.
We got to do that. But no, that was fantastic.
And I mean, you did, and you also did New York with her last year, right?
Yeah.
2022.
Me personally, I didn't go. That was Jamie and Victoria. I was actually at a wedding in Toronto. But yeah, New York Fashion Week last year, Paris this year, and then the plan is...
BNV is going worldwide.
I think Milan is the plan in 2024, the fashion capital of the world.
Ooh.
But so yeah.
That sounds fun.
That sounds a lot of fun, right? So that was fantastic. And once again, just meeting new people, making new connections has led us to some opportunities potentially in television.
Oh, you were just holding all this. You didn't tell me anything.
Well, I don't like jinxing it, and I'm probably jinxing it now because nothing's written in stone yet. But
the opportunities are there.
The opportunities there.
Yeah.
Hoping that kind of comes together once again in early 2024, and then most recently, another connection. Sorry, I know I'm not giving away names right now, folks, but check back in a couple months and you'll see.
But listen, it's coming, so wait and see. Yeah.
But yeah, working on a potential feature documentary that will be hopefully will be shown at film festivals.
Ooh, I know you can't. I know you can't share the details now, but as soon as we stop recording, I want to know the details.
I will. I'll tell you. Off camera, off mic.
Yeah.
But that's kind of led us to here. So a lot of transitioning period in that. I mean, I think that was always going to happen. And I don't want to say there's not as many opportunities around here in the podcasting world for marketing purposes. But I think, our economy isn't doing the best right now.
Yeah.
And the first budget that gets slashed is a marketing budget. And we're catering, for the most part, to smaller businesses.
Right.
And, there's just not as much opportunity as there was a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We had a lot of opportunities in the real estate world, and obviously that market's kind of cooled off. Mind you, we still do, and they're fantastic clients. We love them so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were kind of now we have, we've got our foundation of clients, which keeps us safe and the lights on, but let's look at some other opportunities in some other areas. Obviously that started with Kickstart Connections, but here we are now.
Yeah.
2023 more happened than I thought, I guess.
And I realized Kickstart Connections was a year old last month. It was November 1st. I think the first episode came out last year. And I'm like, I don't know where that time has gone. Like, I don't know
I
where
don't
that
know.
time has gone. But, you know, I know a couple of thoughts that popped into my mind when you were just speaking and you were saying, you know, about, you know, there being more opportunities west of us. If you look at it this way, I think actually there's probably more opportunity here because people are just starting to kind of wake up to how powerful podcasting is for business.
I like it.
Do you see what I mean?
See,
Listen, you always
bring
got
it
to have
down,
that positive spin
you
on
bring
it.
it back up.
I'm like the annoying eternal optimist. I'm like,
okay.
everything's great.
That's a good thing. It's a good attitude to have.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's very true, you know, and I do think that, you know, especially the States, Western Canada, they have been a bit more kind of on this train.
Yeah.
But it's really, and honestly, and I think a lot of it is starting to pick up because people in the business community here are seeing what is coming out of this studio, right?
Yeah.
And they're seeing the quality of what's coming out of this studio, and they're realizing that, you know, we can reach a wider audience through this medium.
Can reach the entire world.
Yeah.
You know? I think, I know what you mean. There will always be opportunities here. I think you can argue that there are bigger budgets outside of Atlantic Canada. And I think where we've grown as a company, we've added more kind of things to our menu, so to speak. Not just an audio podcast anymore, you know, add video, add social media. More recently now we're doing the pre-production area where, you know, we take care of the guests, we take care of episode prep, we take care of the host, you know?
So with the pre-production, my thought on that part, and this is, you know, a lot of people have said this to me and actually our potential client into the new year.
Yeah, you had a couple of opportunities that we're going to be looking into the next
and
months.
we had, you know, it was the issue. Budget wasn't the issue. Believing in it, seeing the opportunity wasn't the issue. It's time and bandwidth, right? To be able to take something like that on in-house, you know, even if they have a studio doing, you know, for recording and post-editing, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody who has got a podcast off the ground, it's a lot of work, you know, thinking about what do I want to talk about? What guests do I want to have on? What message do I want to send through the podcast? So by having that full service option, again, you know, it's probably going to be larger companies and things like that just from an investment standpoint. But everything's taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other than a few early on meetings you could call it sort of a brand audit. You know, we go in, we ask questions, you know, we get answers. We, you know, we're like, get a general idea of where do you want this podcast to go?
And the strategy stuff, right?
Exactly. But other than that, we take it out of your hands and we do the rest. And it's not just, it's, you know, it's pre-production, it's production, it's post-production, but then it's also putting it out to the world properly. You know, you can have it all edited perfectly, but if you don't present it the way it should be, no one is going to find it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, there's lots of platforms these days, right?
Yeah.
But really, the strategy is so important. You know, we have this conversation a lot, don't we? About you have to go where you're going to find your audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you are a product-based brand or you're selling directly to consumer, those platforms now are Instagram, TikTok, you know, and you hit you get the right moment, the right video with the right audio, and it can blow up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's huge exposure.
Yeah, everyone's on their phones every day. And typically they're on one of those apps, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, YouTube. Some people are still on Facebook.
That's true. I'm still on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't
go use it
to get rid of my notifications so that number doesn't show up on the right side of the app, if you know what I'm saying. Little mini OCD right there.
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess. I don't know if I've even
the people who have,
the notifications.
Yeah, like they have their mail and there's like 11,482 next to it. I'm like, what are you about to show me right now? Don't you dare. If it's a 5-digit number, we're ending this podcast
it's not 5.
right now.
It's 9,000.
It's about as close as
9,522.
Now I understand that because that's not your work email, is it?
No, my work email has 426.
Oh my
but
people.
But I have to point out
Now
here,
you know why she's not getting back to you,
this is
folks.
not people emailing that I'm not reading their emails and responding. This is like junk email.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
And I should just go through and just swipe and delete it.
Yeah, someone listening hasn't
Who's
heard
got the
back
time
from you
for
in
that?
2 months. They're like, junk mail? What?
If they haven't heard back from me in 2 months, then they're probably not a client anymore. No, I do return my emails, people. I do.
No, we're just having fun. Like we said, very relaxed. It's holiday vibes.
It is.
No one has had any Christmas cheer, but you'd think so.
Yeah, I know. Why didn't we do that?
I mean, there is there is Boxing Rock in the fridge.
Yeah,
if you
I
want
don't
one.
like beer.
It's kind of far. It's like,
That's okay.
the other side
That's
of the room there.
Let's get back on track.
Let's get back on track.
The other thought I had when you were talking about, all of these new opportunities that have presented themselves over 2023 and making 2024 look very, very bright, they all come from connections.
True.
And in case you didn't know, folks, what we do here at Kickstart Connections is we kickstart connections. So
Where's the drum?
No, but it's so important. And I know I talk about this a lot as well, of like networking and just really meeting, because you'll meet people that can impact your business positively anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, you could start talking to somebody in the grocery store. Not that I do that, but you can.
How dare you?
And you never know where it's going to lead, right? So I think that is a good tidbit to bring out of that conversation is get out there, go and tell people what you do, right?
And it's not just kickstarting connections for other people. It's also kickstarting connections for us.
Yeah.
Because we go out into the world, we go to these conferences, we go to these events, we meet so many fantastic people.
Yeah.
So we're making connections with you too.
Yeah,
and we absolutely love it.
We do. We have so much fun. I'm pumped for the event in February in Ottawa. I can't wait.
I know, right? It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's going to be cool for me too because it's an automotive event.
Yeah.
I can say that much. And there's going to be lots of familiar faces there for me. So I can't wait.
You're going to be like a celebrity.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I don't know
Everyone's going to want to sit down with Lucy.
Well, I'm hoping I'll get a lot of interviews. Yeah. I think it's going to be fun. So, and we are looking to do more locally as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are things in the works there. We probably can't talk about that yet. But we do have things in the works. And I think, you'll definitely see us popping up at some events in Nova Scotia next year for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I was on a call the other day just with a friend of mine who's just got a new job and he's doing like clarity calls to their like HR company and trying to like see, what do small businesses need help with, how do they set goals, all that. And one of the things I told them, I was talking about Kickstart Connections. Like I'd like at the end of the year, we go into 2025 with at least one conference every 2 months.
Yeah.
I think ideally it'd be nice to
all
have
right,
one a month.
We're setting goals here.
See how smooth that transition
I
is
like
into
it
goals?
though. I like it. Do you know what though? That is a great goal. One every 2 months.
One every 2 months.
Yeah.
I think that's a realistic goal.
I do.
I think that's a goal that could be broken easier than it could be failed to met.
Yeah.
Failed to meet. Poor English here, folks. Someone, a former podcaster here. And speaking with someone who's, they invented the language. My God.
I mean, yeah, we did. It's true.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
of.
I'll let that one slide.
It's fine.
I'll let that one slide.
We don't need to talk about it, okay? But yeah, that's definitely
a great goal.
A goal
I
for
love that.
Kickstart.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that one?
Yeah, because 2024 is going to be our first full year doing that. I mean, we really did. We did our trial event in June, and then we did our next event in September, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely realistic. Like you said, it's our first full year with not just going into it, but actually having a catalog and some work. People like a teacher wants you to show your work. Well, we can show our work.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we grow that to 6, maybe 12. We'll see where we're at in 2025. But I think it's definitely going the right direction.
100%.
And the feedback we've received has been quite positive.
Well, I mean, I think people are looking for ways to stand out.
Yeah.
Right? And to bring something innovative. That's a word? Innovative?
I mean, I think you're putting emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Well, let's just go back to who invented the language. I think
oh my gosh. Innovative. Am I right, folks?
Innovative.
What's
Okay.
another one?
I have some Brits that listen to this, so we'll let the guests weigh in. Is it innovative or is it innovative?
Innovative.
Let us know.
There's a few ones that you guys say differently, but I guess
Aluminium is the biggest one.
What?
Aluminium.
Aluminum.
We actually spell it differently though. We have an
You
extra
threw
I in it.
I in there. Yeah.
No, it was there. You took it out.
Yeah. Well, which is weird because it's more of an American thing to do, to take out letters.
Yeah, I think you probably just took it from the Americans.
No.
Okay, this is going on.
They took out a lot of U's.
We got to rein this back in.
Yeah. Oh, well, you spell mum with you. Anyways,
because she's my mum.
Yeah. This is
Do you know what's funny? I think my mother gets mentioned pretty much every episode I record, and we've just done it again. I love her. She's the best.
She's the best.
She's the best mum.
Shout out Mama Underwood.
Mummy Underwood.
I wasn't going to say mommy.
Mummy Underwood. Yeah, that'd be weird coming from you. You know another thing, actually, on a self-development note that I'm really proud of for 2023, and I've only just realized this very recently.
Yeah.
I think I've pretty much overcome my debilitating imposter syndrome.
Nice.
Right? Of just the oh my God, I can't do this. I'm a complete fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Why did I start a business? Now I'm just like, yeah.
Damn right.
I'm growing a business and I'm killing it.
Exactly.
And I'm good. And I know what I'm doing.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. It feels so good.
I think, you know what? Come to think of it, I think we, in a lot of ways, also overcame that in this year. I think it's been a long time coming, but for us, it was always like, when it comes down to what are we going to offer and how much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
Always being so terrified to tell people what we think we're worth.
Yeah. Why are we like that?
I don't know. Even when you have the proof is in the pudding, like you already have clients that they're there. Like they think you're worth it.
Yeah.
So you should too.
Yeah.
And I think like we've gotten to that point where, it's like, yeah, we are worth that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And even right now, I'm like, oh, should I be talking about money? Is this in poor taste? But
no, it's business.
Business.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we do have a lot of fun in what we're doing, we're not here just for fun. Let's be fair. I mean, we've all got bills to pay, right?
Exactly.
And we need to make a living and we need to have careers that fulfill us, right?
Exactly. We're doing this because if I was working a 9 to 5, I would be so sad.
I was the whole time I worked 9 to 5, I think. But, entrepreneurship comes with other stresses.
Of course.
And it does.
Yeah.
But what I really like about it is that it's my stress, right?
You have full control over it.
I have full control over it. Decisions I make, whether they're good decisions or bad decisions, the outcome's all mine.
Yeah.
And it's mine to own.
Yeah.
And I think for me, a lot of it is, I've always been a bit of a perfectionist. I'm getting better with that now these days because I just don't care as much. But, I've always held myself at a very, very high standard. So if I'm reporting to somebody, I'm constantly like, I hope they're happy with my work. I hope they're happy with everything I'm doing and all of this. And that's stressful.
Yeah.
That is stressful. Whereas when you're doing, when you're in business by yourself, really you're succeeding as long as you're keeping the lights on, right?
As long as you're keeping the lights on. And I just wanted to clarify that 9 to 5 made me sad. Not that 9 to 5s are sad.
Yes, thank you for clarifying
that.
They're
not for everyone.
No.
Including you and me.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why we're entrepreneurs, I think.
Yeah.
Because we want,
I always find it's so funny when people are like, oh, that's like so cool, you're owning your own business. And I'm like, it is, but I need you to understand something. Like, I have to be doing this.
Yeah.
There's no other option for me.
Yeah. But, that's an important drive to have as well, right? Because, again, I think when people look at entrepreneurship, and I know I did, and you look from the outside in, that's a cool lifestyle, right? You can have your own schedule. You do what you want. You can take business that you want and not take business that you don't want, and all of this kind of thing. And I mean, yeah, sure it is once you're successful.
Once you get up there,
but that climb of that mountain to get there is terrifying.
That's the big deterrent.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Exhilarating.
I definitely lost some hair.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's correlated.
Yeah.
And you can't take that away from me.
No, it probably is. It probably is. But you know what? It's also an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm a bit of a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just have to have the right personality for it, right?
Yeah.
And also be able to have that lifestyle for a while. Because again, I will tell you, like, if I was settled down with a family and stuff like that, I would never have been able to make that decision.
Yeah.
But because I just had myself to look after, I'm like, all right, now's the time. Now's the time, right?
It's just, that's the biggest thing is flexibility and being able to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I see Gary Vee, who, you know, love him, hate him, whatever. He's like, you're 40, you're 50, you can still do stuff. And it's like,
yeah.
What am I supposed to do with my kids, Gary?
Yeah. And it's also, do you want to still do stuff at that age as well?
Yeah, you want to settle down at that point. You want to be comfortable. I think your goals change.
They do. 100% they do.
No doubt.
I was like focused on world domination in my 20s. I was I'm just going to keep climbing the corporate ladder higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until I run it all. Yeah. Now I can't think of anything worse because it just doesn't suit my personality anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so
Agreed.
We change.
We change
and we grow.
Two things. Apologies to those watching on video. It is getting darker outside. So just from a videographer point of view, there is reflections.
Oh, yes, I
on the glass. And it's not a good look, but we're fine.
And we have to have the studio light on because it makes me look younger.
Yeah.
As we determined.
Oh, you look young no matter what.
Oh, you say the nicest things.
No, I try. Okay, we got slightly off track because we were starting goals.
I know, but we did goal. We were talking about, we did our year review.
Yep.
And then we got into lessons.
Lessons. Yeah, we did one goal, which was our Kickstart goal. But then we got into to lessons.
Are there any more lessons? And then we'll do goals properly.
Get right back into proper goals.
Proper goals.
I think something that we talked about at the beginning and then we were going to get into it and what we're going to get into it now is that things do move slower than you'd like them to.
Yes.
I think if you're not owning a business, you're on the other side of things. So you are working constantly to get to something. And it doesn't seem like, it seems like things are moving fast. It's like, oh, I have deadlines, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But on the business side, you're waiting for other people for their deadline.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you're like, okay, and I think that's that entrepreneurial, that go-getter attitude. You're like, okay, I just sent an email 4 minutes ago. Where's the response? Like, let's get this podcast started.
Why haven't I got my signed contract yet?
Yeah, like what's happening right now? So and you have to be patient, you know, like I think we also all live in this world, this weird world now where we have our cell phone at all times. And I was with my dad the other day and he was like, I got clients emailing me on Saturday, Sunday, you know, there's no break.
Yeah.
And I think that can be tough in a lot of ways, but it also means that like your mind is always on your business.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a business owner. But that's not always the case for people who aren't business owners.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, this is another thing, again, you know, just thinking, like looking back, if I had have known how long it was going to really take for me to get my business moving, I don't know if I'd have done it. So I think the naivety actually helped me in a way. And it's pushed me, right? I mean, I've had to make some tough decisions. I've had to make some sacrifices. But then that just makes you believe in your vision even more.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I've done that because I'm working towards something that I really believe in.
Yeah. Well, it's that risk, you know, like some people will be like, oh, you got to be crazy to quit your job and start nothing from nowhere. And apologies for using crazy. I don't want to offend anyone there, but no, people say like, you know, you're crazy to do that. But that's that naivety. It's that.
But I think you do have
braveness.
To be a bit crazy. You do have to have that.
You do.
I mean, and I don't even know whether it's, I don't know. I think it's different for different people. I mean, some people I'm sure go into business very confidently. You know, maybe they've been in a particular career for a long time and then they're just kind of venturing out on their own and they've got clients lined up and they've done it in probably a very much better planned out way than I did. For me, it wasn't, you know, I didn't do it because I was like, oh yeah, no, I can make this work. I did it because I was like, well, if I don't try, I'll always regret not trying.
Exactly.
And I can, at this stage in my life, I can take some hits if I need to, So yeah, I think people have different kind of mentalities going into it, but it's a hell of a journey, people. It's a hell of a journey.
And you know what? Every journey is different. I mean, you talk about how you came out of an industry and you had a general idea of what you wanted to do for your business. For me, I started a podcast and I was like, I don't know. I just quit my marketing job and I'd served throughout university. So I was like, I'll go back to serving. I'll start a podcast and who knows, maybe I can make money off the podcast.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize I was doing is I was making multiple deep connections with all of the guests that I had on. And the podcast happened to be around people who had quit their job to follow their passion. Someone who was very successful in a position for the most part and was like, it's not fulfilling me.
Yeah.
And I think that you can say that's coming from a very privileged position, especially right now. There's a lot of people struggling. But at the same time, like it doesn't matter how much money you make sometimes. If you're not happy, then you have to make a change. So that was kind of
you do what you need to do, like you said. I mean, you didn't just quit your job and start a podcast. You went back to serving. You were still making money, right?
Yeah.
While you were building it. And I think that's part of the sacrifice.
Exactly. And it's good. You need to have a safety net. I think it's actually, my parents always told me this. They're like, because I didn't, like school was there and it was just social for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't really interested in any particular subjects. Luckily, I excelled, but it was just, it was what it was. And then in university, I just wasn't sure where I was going or what I was doing. My parents were like, listen, Jerry Seinfeld wanted to be a comedian and his parents said, that's fine. But I don't know, my parents don't sound like that, but they said, that's fine. But get a university degree first.
Yeah.
So you have that safety net. You have something to fall back on. Now, this is back when a university degree was a surefire way to get a job. Not necessarily the case anymore, but they're like, go and do that and then go chase your dreams. And that's what he did. And obviously he never had to get that regular job. Not regular, but, a job.
Yeah.
And he's now, one of the most successful comedians.
He does okay.
Yeah, he does all right.
Does all right.
Jerry Seinfeld, you ever heard of him? So that's what I did. It took me way longer than probably he took to get a university degree, but I got it. And I kind of chickened out, actually. I was like, oh, well, I'll get a job and I'll get a marketing job. I'll work my way up and then maybe on the side, I'll try and like start something. Like, I don't really know. And I lasted 18 days in that particular job. And I've told this story a million times, but I just couldn't do it. And I look back and I'm like, I was not myself. Like I wasn't hungry. Yeah. I wasn't eating. Like it was just, and it was not a bad job. It was a marketing job.
Just wasn't a fit.
Kind of a sales job actually. But the people that I worked with, they were cool. It was a good environment. It's not like I was going to work and I was like terrified of being bullied or anything like that. But it just, it didn't fit to the nth degree. It was, like the inner self being like, this is not your path. So 18 days later, quit. I already had kind of the podcast idea from my mom. Shout out Mama Boudreau.
Mama Boudreau with the idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And started a podcast with a good friend of mine, Ben Brammer. And that's, the rest is history. Like before the podcast was over, we had people that we had interviewed coming up to us and be like, hey, like, I want to start a podcast. This looks like fun. Like, can you produce mine? And I'm like, well, I guess I didn't really see myself as a producer, but that's what I've been doing the whole time for mine.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it came out of.
And now look where you are.
And now here we are. So that was something that I knew I needed.
Such a cool story.
To do something for myself. I didn't have a clear idea of what it was, but I think, at the end, what I'm trying to say is start with making connections with the people that you aspire to be like. So for me, it was like making those connections with people who quit their job because it wasn't doing it for them and then took that risk, got out of that comfortability and started something for themselves.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And that's something I wish I'd have done more of earlier on as well. Another little fun tidbit about my personality is I'm really bad at asking for help. Like really.
Stubborn, are you?
I just don't like asking for help. No, I have like this fierce independence that
So if
I'm
you're
like,
lost, you're not pulling over to a gas station to.
I mean, I have GPS, but no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's like a 90s
no,
question,
I wouldn't.
I guess.
I wouldn't ask someone for directions.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
No. It's terrible. But I learned that, you know, and again, I know I've said this many times on this podcast, but like, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of takes a village to raise a business too. You know, you can't do it by yourself. Whether it is just having those connections and getting the word out there, whether it's finding yourself a mentor. And I mean, I've got a couple of awesome mentors that, you know, have directly led me to business as well, you know. So
There you go.
And I appreciate them very, very much. But sometimes you have to be able to just, you know, take the help that's offered.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of the reason I wanted to start Kickstart Connections was to kind of pass that forward, you know, give these entrepreneurs a platform to come on and talk about their business and maybe reach a wider audience than they are already. So, and we've met some great, I mean, think about the guests that we've had on. You know, even
this is basically the Kickstart year in review. So
this is the year-end review.
Who's your favorite guest? No, I'm just joking.
We're not doing that. I love them all. But no, I mean, we've had a very kind of wide range of businesses that we've featured.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, you and doing this, not only do we make connections, but I mean, we learn about things going on in our city that we'd never knew was there, or, you know, different stores or products or whatever. And, yeah, it's been great. It's been really fun.
Hey, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
We're having fun. And I guess the last lesson for me to kind of pull that all together is from the start, I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I was open and willing to kind of roll with the punches and mold it into something that made sense. And I think I still carry that attitude into 2023, because we're willing to say, okay, this is working, but maybe not working as well as we thought. What can we do differently?
Yeah.
What are some spaces we can explore without, of course, spreading yourself too thin, because that can destroy businesses. And
that might be a challenge for me next year. I'm not.
Well, you might have to hire.
Starting to worry about how I'm going to do everything, but yeah.
That'll be our lessons for 2024 is hiring practices and making sure.
This time next year, I'll have had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Again.
Lucy's going to be bald in next year's. Oh, my goodness. No, it's actually me who's going to be bald anyways. Booking a flight to Turkey.
Might have some gray hairs by then. I don't know.
You never know.
Just keep bleaching them. It's fine.
Hey, that's all you got to do. Well, that's great. I want to get into goals. Let's
go into goals.
Kickstart goals, but what are your personal goals?
My personal goals for next year, I have to be organization. I've always been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I am going to have a significant amount more work. One more little tidbit. You already know this, but starting in the new year, I have just signed the biggest contract so far to date. And it's a contract I'm going to be working almost full-time hours on for probably the whole year. So I have to be military organized so that I can do everything. Yeah. But also that I take care of myself as well, right? Yeah. That's going to be the balance for next year, is maintaining kind of my health, energy, outlook, all of that kind of stuff while still being out there and killing it.
I love that. Yeah. I have a very similar goal, is, looking after my mind and body so I can be as productive as I know I can be. Yeah. Because I grew up an athlete, so I'm used to being in shape, and I am not in shape, and I should be. A lovely dog over there, Oatmeal. I'll run around the house with him for a little bit, get him chasing me. I'm out of breath after 30 seconds. Yeah. That's bad. I may look skinny, but I'm not in shape. So that's one thing. That's a big goal, getting in shape.
Similar. I can relate.
And then that also, diet is very, very closely related to that. Having a much better diet, having meals planned a minute before You
It's so
decide what
hard
you're
to do,
eating.
though, isn't it?
I know, but that just comes down to routines, and routines are very difficult to start, but on the other end, and I'm hoping very difficult to break. So once you get into those routines, it's just about starting, and it's also about belief. I think that's part of me is like, well, like really, you're going to do this, and then all of a sudden it's going to be a routine.
That's a really good point.
But it's like you have to have that belief.
That's
and it's
a really
funny.
good point.
We just talked about believing in ourselves and we believe in our business. Well, you got to see if you can translate that belief to other areas of your life.
Didn't know this was going to become a therapy session. This is great.
This is quite the episode, eh, folks?
I know. We were just like, we'll just, we'll record for 20 minutes. We'll just do a quick update. We've been all over the place.
We're in 49 minutes in now, but no.
Oh my God.
It's been great. So yeah, personal goals, mind and body. So I can be in the best place possible to get BNV to the next level. For BNV, closely tied, obviously, that Kickstart Connections, that goal there. I think I'd like us to get 3 to 4 full service clients. Yeah. So let's say we have our one, knock on wood. So, 2 to 3 more.
It's
for
absolutely doable.
And I think that's very, very doable, 1 per quarter, because that is a big production.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of time, and it makes sense for, one.
We'll have to track these goals throughout the year as well.
Yeah. Anyone who's listening, can you just text this to us? What are our goals? No.
Yeah. Just in about March, just text us and be like,
have you done it?
Are you still eating healthy?
Are you still eating healthy? Oh my God. Have you started? How about have you started eating healthy?
I'm normally pretty good in January because January is like, it's so funny because I know a lot of people get super excited for the holidays and they love Christmas and all of this kind of stuff. Ain't really my thing. Yeah. To be honest with you, it's fine, but like it's not something I necessarily look forward to. But I do look forward to the break. Yeah. Because normally by the end of the year, I'm just absolutely exhausted. But then it's like January 1st comes and it's like switch.
Ready.
I'm just like ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'm normally pretty good for January, sometimes February too.
Yeah. And
then the wheels start falling off.
And then start over again.
Then summer comes and it's just out the door.
I know, right? Feeling good. And I think we alluded to this, but just the goal, I think hopefully this documentary happens and we can get it in film festivals. I think that'd be really cool. Going to Milan, hopefully that happens and we grow with House of Soli, as Solitha alluded to on last month's episode. And then our other client, or not, I shouldn't say client because they're not a client yet, but the other venture that we're working on that we're very excited for, that we hope happens in early 2024. I don't want to say too much, but it's around a sport that we love very dearly here at BNV.
Do I love this sport too?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay.
Probably. It's not footy.
It's not football. Okay.
It's not football. But yeah, we're hoping that we nail that client down. That's a terrible way to put it. We're hoping that we... Is that a threat? No. We're hoping that we make that happen early 2024, and then we just have a very successful year with them, and we help them grow immensely. So those are kind of our goals.
I love
for
it.
2024.
I love it. And you know what's it's funny as well, like you have to stop and think sometimes as well on how much can happen in a year, right? We've just spent some time talking about everything that happened in 2023 and so it's okay not to have it all planned out on January 1st because there's going to be things come up opportunities come up that you can't predict as well. But no, I love that. And that's some really kind of like specific goals there as well, which, I train SMART goals in some of my training. And
the S is for
specific.
Is P precise? No, probably not.
There's no P.
Spart goals. Who's this guy over here?
I'm done.
Ending this podcast. All right, before we leave, I don't know where that came from. I'm just getting
That's okay.
over
We'll take that part out.
I was quite sick the last few days, but not too sick because my immune system's fantastic. But a little bit of brain fog.
A little bit under the weather.
A little bit of brain fog. You can probably hear it. I'm a little nasally. But give me one prediction for 2024. It does not. It could be.
That's
it could be anything.
Prediction.
That's what I was thinking. I was like predictions. P. Sure.
A prediction
could be anything. Doesn't have to be business related. Could be something fun. Like Man City's not going to win the
Man
the
City
title.
are definitely winning the title. That's not even a question. But they might not. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Imagine if Newcastle does. Where are they now?
They're in 6th. I don't want to talk about it. They lost to Chelsea yesterday in the Carabao Cup.
You got to at least get Champions League.
That's actually, well, not anymore, but that was going to be my prediction that they make Champions
Well,
League.
no, it can still be your prediction.
No, but I'm going to do another one.
All right, fine. Yeah. You can have another one. My business prediction, actually, I know we kind of said Kickstart Connections, we would love to do kind of like an event every couple of months and kind of bring these things up. But I don't know, I feel like it's on the precipice of just blowing up. That's a word.
Precipice?
Precipice. Oh, yeah, you're right.
But now I'm like, piss? Is that what we say?
Precipice.
What we say? Precipice.
I think it's spelled peace. P-I, I don't know.
It doesn't. It is what it is.
Anyway, yes.
Precipice.
I think Kickstart Connections is going to make us very busy.
I think
next
you're right.
year.
I think you're right. You're so confident. I'm like, do you know something that we don't? Like,
no, but I told you.
It's that belief.
Eternal optimist.
Eternal optimist.
That's I'm manifesting it. That's what I'm doing.
I like it. Yeah. I agree with you. I think you're right. I mean, like I said earlier, each conference we do, I feel like is going to get us at least one other client.
Right.
That's what
I mean.
It's done so far for us, which is fantastic. So I think, like I said, it's not just others that we're helping with connections or kickstarting connections. It's us too. So exactly. I'm on board with that.
Perfect.
Prediction.
All right. What about you?
I predict that BNV gets their first American client.
That is a great prediction.
And that's not. Yeah, I don't want to say like we're forgetting about Canada. I just think we've thought about
still growth.
Expanding.
It's expanding.
Like our business model, where you don't have to be in Halifax for us to fully produce your podcast, and that's the client that we have coming up.
Right.
They're not based in Halifax.
But again, that is the beauty of full service podcasting, where you have a fantastic studio, you have the professionals, the equipment,
a fantastic host.
We can do it all for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's an area. I think like New York City, we're going to target a bit with marketing. This upcoming year.
Let's go and do the marketing in person.
Let's do it. We might be going to New York in February.
Company trip.
But I'm not totally sure. Company trip, let's do it.
I've never been to New York, actually.
Oh, wow. My parents just got back.
Oh, lovely.
They had a great time. Good. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Take us home, Lucy.
All right, let's wrap it up. So, listen, was
that a Christmas pun? Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up and take it home for Christmas.
Oh.
Do you see what I did there?
Love it.
No, listen, it's been an incredible year. I know I said this to you the other day. I might have had a glass of wine. I can't remember, but we were texting about some plans for Kickstart Connections. And I was just like, I'm really happy to be working with you guys. And I might have had some wine, but I absolutely meant it. I am like, again, courage. It's like how these connections come into place.
Yeah.
I met you guys through Martina, my best friend, who has a podcast as well.
Actually, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that's
we're trying to
relaunch
that into something bigger and better than you've ever seen
I
before.
And I actually don't really know the details yet, so I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
But no, this is how these connections form. And then, in Marc and Jamie, I just found these guys that are just, we see things the right way, the same way.
Yeah.
But we have diverse skills.
Yeah.
Right? So it just makes a very compatible team.
It made sense.
It's
and
it's been awesome sense. And
I love you. Like I just found these guys off the street.
I just found these guys. They told me they had microphones, so I was like,
and here we are.
Here we are. But no, and it just makes me more excited to see what the next year brings. I can't wait, and I'm ready to go.
We're unstoppable.
We are unstoppable.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Special shout out to all the wonderful people we've worked with and met over the year. We look very much forward to continuing that relationship in 2024. And to the people we haven't met yet,
we can't wait to meet you.
See you soon.